Hello and good evening. The AFL Armchair Advisors are back. We are back after a 1 week hiatus. Apologies for that. And everyone's angry. I'm angry. The boys are angry. Everyone's in a bad mood. Everyone's copping it tonight. Copping it. 6 ways from Sunday. I've had a gut full of it. First person copping it. Me, the videographer bloke, running this nonsense behind the scenes. Buggered up. Lost all of the footage from last week, so apologies for no show last week. So feel free to heap scorn and derision upon me for being a useless
to be honest,
twat.
I'm actually quite sad because I actually thought it was a really good show.
It was a ripping show.
And not only that, it was Dez's one chance at main eventing WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And Vince McMahon lost the tapes.
I waited the entire 2 years of the AFL Armchair Advisors to host, and you deliver that. I think he was threatened. I think he was threatened.
I think there's a bit of that.
Sabotage. It's got me dead to rights.
He just got growled.
You can check the audio. Jump onto Armchair Advisors on Facebook. The pinned post at the top. We'll have the link to the podcast. If you're a bit more of a podcast, don't want to look at us, would prefer to listen to us kind of operator. But please, like and subscribe.
Like, share, and subscribe, baby. Like, share, and subscribe.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I actually think we should do that again at some point, though. Des does deserve a run in the headline chair.
I reckon.
Grand final pod?
Well,
let's not go too far.
next week.
Why not? Why not?
I might.
Why not?
In the round, in the minor round with a major bang.
Absolutely.
Des will be hosting next week, but for now it is me, your regular host, Rich, sitting in the angry man chair. Next to me, the man who, if he was a muscle in the back, he would be known as a statissimus dorsi. That's how many stats and little information morsels this man has access to. It is Sensible Dan, the man who knows everything about everything about everything. How are you?
Look, I'm angry. I am angry.
It's the angry cast.
I'm in the same boat as you guys because I mean, if it wasn't you forgetting the videos and losing them last week, it was me leaving my laptop in an undisclosed location. A mere 1 hour before the pod, so I had to rush off to reclaim it, and it just put me in a foul mood. So, as you said, everyone is copping both barrels tonight.
Everyone's
especially you.
You better wait. Dummy of the week's coming up, and boy, oh boy, I've got some absolute fire to pour out because I'm just sick of it.
As Batista does some of these ones.
He does. Now we're talking. Global field correspondent, of course, Desmond Van Bus. How are you? What's going on?
I'm not too bad. I just want another intro because if I was a muscle in the back, what would I be?
You'd be the stupidest Maximus. That's what you drag up.
Besides this big, beautiful smile, I'm angry because all I wanted to do, I have come out. I've come out, not out of the closet.
We've been waiting.
I've come out. I'm a Green Bay Packers fan, but and I'm going to break the fourth wall here. The green screen would not like me if I was to wear green, so I'm stuck wearing this Cam Newton's Panthers jersey, which I love Cam Newton to be fair, but I'm angry.
That's an ancient relic.
I was so excited. So excited to wear my Green Bay Packers.
Patriots.
Yeah.
So excited to wear my Green Bay Packers.
Not for much longer.
Guess what?
Panthers it is, baby.
So Cam Newton it is.
There is altogether too much love in your reasons as to why you're angry. I told you that wrestling was fake the other day. That made you angry.
Yeah, I was triggered.
And you were triggered
Still
about
real to me, damn it!
On that angry note, let's get into Game 1, Round 22, the second to last round of this AFL season 2021. Oh boy, it is the 2019 Grand Final replay at the MCG for your Friday night, if you don't bloody mind, gentlemen. It is the GWS Giants going head-to-head with the resurgent Richmond Tigers. Sensible Dan, I want you to crack this one open for me and feast on the goo inside. What can we expect?
I would love to say I've run out of superlatives to describe the Giants, but superlatives is being far too nice to them. I don't even know what they are. Honest to God, I've got no idea.
Well, they're a football team.
Every single week, I'm like, yeah, look, definitely losing this one. You stack up all the reasons. There's no reason a team of under 17 should go into Geelong and beat a premiership favourite. Yet here we are talking about it. Why? How? Is it Geelong's fault or is it GWS's fault? I don't really know.
Divine intervention, just God just taking the
piss. That's
piss.
Literally the only way that they were winning this game,
Yeah.
and God touched the GWS team with his finger.
Oh, it was a tipster's nightmare, and I knew the second that result came in, I was angry.
Yeah.
I was like, right, tipping this week is going to suck harder than a prostitute sponsored by Dyson Vax.
Absolutely.
And I wasn't fucking wrong.
And should have known, really, because, like, it's happened multiple times over the years. You get one round a year where it's just an absolute chaos. And as you said, should have known when I saw that result on Friday night, because we can go into our work tips and change them. I should have gone in and changed them all. And I sat there and suffered while everyone else had also tipped Richmond, and I'd tipped North Melbourne. So my weekend was just getting worse and worse as it rolled on.
Did we not all go north last week?
We did.
Yeah, we all went north.
absolutely.
Let's not talk about that. Talk to me about this one. Des, what's happening? Who's winning?
You boys like to know why the Giants are angry.
Go on.
Because they're potentially going to beat the premiership winning team, and they're not even going to make finals. They're not even going to make finals, and that's
cold comfort.
As they said last night. If you watched the footy last night, they said this is an elimination final. So this is like they're really playing for their season, because Eagles just literally need to win one and they'll make it. Bombers are gonna, and we'll preview this later in the show, but Bombers are looking like they are in the goods, and Bombers look like all they need to do. They just need to keep on track and beat some duds. So this is really. It's real important, and I think the Giants they have the curve. They're beating Geelong one week, and then they're losing to,
and that is exactly the problem.
And I think Richmond are going to win 1-39.
And even if they do make finals, they're going to be there for a week, and that's it. It's not going to last much longer.
In my notes, I wrote the Giants down in my notes, and I've realised that if a game matters, GWS are not going to show up. If a game genuinely like that Geelong game didn't matter to them, like that was a loss.
Everyone knew.
You know what? Anything besides 150 point loss is really a loss.
As for the Tigers though, they beat North, but their team is still riddled with issues from front to back. Tom Lynch, I don't care what Damien Hardwick says. Tom Lynch is out of form, big time.
I agree.
4 goals in 3 weeks. And Brownie was exactly right. Needs to move up the ground, try and get involved a bit more. You can't have your key forward sitting in the forward line doing nothing.
What did Richo used to do back in the day?
Correct.
What did Rewalt used to do back in the day? Oh, shit, I ain't kicking goals at the minute. I'm angry. I'm not kicking goals at the minute. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll get on my skates and I'll go up the ground.
We've seen Buddy do it.
Yeah,
I've seen him take marks in at halfback earlier on this year because they're not getting the ball to him enough. You just come up the ground, start getting your hands on the pill.
Charlie Dixon.
Yep.
Been doing that.
It happens. Tex. Big rip.
Can't talk about Tex.
But look, big forwards have to come up the ground if they're not getting their hands on the pill. He's got to start doing it. Got to start doing it.
Look, the Tigers have got a shite ton of injuries, but equally so do the Giants at the minute. Yeah. I mean, I genuinely don't know what either of these blokes' best 22s look like going into this round. And look, it's at the G. Richmond played themselves back into form after 2 months of being a call of doo-doo. Modern poo-poo, and they brought back that front half tackling game.
That was actually good. He's done. That's night over.
You just sit there and marinate on that.
Well, and to further that point, Giants suck at the MCG. They are so bad at the G. I personally am still going to tip the Giants.
Jeepers.
But
I hope so.
Actually, I don't know. I mean,
I'd love it if Giants win, but they're...
You know, for the last 8 weeks, every time I've tipped Richmond to either win or lose, they've done the opposite. Now,
probably the same for the Giants as well.
It's
really.
been a lot of that, yeah.
Keep going.
Look, Geelong equally sucked. You can't kick 8 goals, 17 and expect to win a game. The form says the Giants, massive win. Josh Kelly's re-signed for 8 years. Everyone's got their tails up. Form says Giants, therefore I'm going to go the Tigers. Prestia, Vlosten looked great, coming back into form. It was a nice team win from the Tigers in that back half. The first half sucked dreadfully. Yeah. Nice team win. I think they go forward with it at the G Friday night. Richmond 1-39.
Why are they angry though? That's the real question.
Why is Richmond angry?
Because everyone's written them off. Everyone has basically given they're still reigning premiers. I might add.
This.
Their white cards. Get out
Rightfully
of here. See
so.
you later.
Rightfully so. You can't they haven't done anything to warrant otherwise.
I think Tigers would be angry if they don't make finals, and everyone would be like, "Oh, you couldn't make finals
Ninth man.
You didn't have Dusty, didn't make finals."
I'll put up 6. Ninth man.
Classic.
Absolute call of doo-doo from Big Desmond.
Who are you tipping?
Yeah. No, he said that.
Richmond? All right.
Now, at the time of recording, there's no markets available whatsoever. No markets available whatsoever in terms of betting. Makes life tough. Now,
angry.
I know this one, I am angry about that. It's annoying. Now, I know this one, and he won't have anything for us in any case because he's just
Richmond.
Brilliant. What the downhill skier. This bloke won't have any tips because he's too sensible to take a punt. I'm just going out on a limb.
Oh.
I'm just winging it here. I went through, had a look. Don't know what any of these are going to be playing.
Thug Life Rich, hey?
Yeah,
it is.
Sensible Dan, Bus and Thug Life.
Big thuggins. Nah, look, have a look. Keep your peepers out when these markets come available. See what they're doing. If you like the prices on them, I will personally be having a look at these ones. And again, if the price is tasty, I'll jump on it. I'm looking at Kelly, Taranto and Whitfield, 25 apiece. I also think Dion Prestia really played himself back into form with a lovely game last week. I'll be jumping on the meatball for 25 touches. Taranto and Bolton an anytime goal apiece.
Taranto?
I'll be looking at. Taranto.
Yeah. He's been sneaking forward.
Well, he's been playing forward. Now he's back in the midfield again.
Yeah.
Which was baffling to me at the best of times. But
Yeah,
You see what I'm
he's
doing?
sneaking. He's
See what I'm
sneaking.
doing?
He's sneaking. It's going to have some value.
I love the 25 plus. I do love that. I'm back on the Timmy train.
Thank you very much. Okie dokie. Let us move on. It is the Hawthorn Hawks versus the Western Bulldogs down at UTAS in Tasmania. Now, Des, is this one straightforward or can we expect a little bit of spice?
I don't think it's straightforward. I feel like the outcome is straightforward. I can't go past the doggies here. This is like a perfect spot for the Dogs to show everyone that they are the side. Like literally the side. Like because you go down to Tassie, Hawthorn aren't in. Like Hawthorn are in. They've won 2 games in a row.
Yeah.
Who could have told us that in round 12? Like
It's the Clarkso revenge farewell tour.
You know what I mean? Like
It's Clarkson's revenge.
Look, he just like everyone else is playing for a job next year.
Well,
He is guaranteed one, but he just wants to show his wares.
Yeah, I think so.
But
Yeah,
I just
why
feel like, and I know Bruce out for the Dogs kind of makes it a little bit hairy, and the Tassie factor is always like I've backed in Hawthorn literally like because of the Tassie factor many times, but the Dogs are just I see this too often, and it's like is this going to get hairy? But I think the Dogs are just going to be too strong here. The Dogs are just going to be too strong, going to show they're premiership contenders, and if they lose, then I don't. Not season over, but I don't know if they can do it. If you can't go down and beat Hawthorn in Tassie, you're not going to win a flag. You're going to beat Melbourne. You're going to beat Geelong.
I agree with you. I think like fundamentally this should be a pretty routine win for the Dogs. You would
Should
think.
be, yes.
Should be. But to be honest, outside of beating the Crows and that win against Melbourne, I don't think the Dogs have actually been that impressive for some while. A lot of their wins have been against lower level teams by a handful of points here and there. Like they haven't exactly been murderizing teams.
Did enough to get by.
They have done enough to get by. You would want to hope with 2 games left in the regular season, come out and put the wood down. And you get what I'm saying when
Statement
I say
time.
wood.
It's big wood. Yeah.
Eastern.
You definitely get what I'm saying. No, not Eastern.
Southern. Yeah.
You get it.
Yeah, exactly. Think about that one.
Yeah, they've got to come down and lay the smack down, I reckon. They have to.
I strongly agree. I think that the Bruce ACL is really going to be, this is now the crossroads of their season. And everyone's like, well, it's just one player. Like, it's not going to make the difference. And it's like,
It did for Brisbane with Hipwood, though. And he's nowhere near the player that Bruce is, in my opinion.
You bang on. And it's not just the fact that Bruce is their lead up forward and he's been having his best season today. What, second, I think, or third in the Coleman? Up to that game. It's now the dominoes that start falling now that Bruce isn't there. So you take Bruce out, okay. Who's your lead up forward? Do you say Tim English? So if you make it Tim English, you're now either relying on an underdone Steph Martin to come back in, or you play some weirdo who's scrubbing in the twos to just be all of a sudden your number one ruckman.
Bit rude to say about Sweetie, mate.
I don't care.
Rude.
He's second choice.
Trade for Kieran Strawn. Go on, you wouldn't. I heard a rumour.
You'll get to see Kieran Strawn this weekend.
You will.
I'll piss my pants.
But do you see what I'm saying? Do you then realistically back in someone like Jordan Sweet, who isn't an experienced ruckman? Do you want him to be, the big dog, pardon the pun, coming into finals time, who's going to be running that midfield unit? I don't know if you do. But do you put Shaki in the forward line and take him out of the back line?
That is actually would be painful.
I was going to say, I'm moving the magnets, but I would actually put Sweetie forward. Like, as a Roosters boy, you look, I feel like it wouldn't be a bad option. We're going to find out in the weekend.
It's as realistic an option as any.
This is the big problem with what the Dogs have got with their list, because their midfield, we discussed this on the weekend, their midfield is so stacked. It's stupidly stacked. There's too many midfielders.
No bookends.
Normally what you would do if you were, say, Geelong, Dangerfield would go forward and help cover. Well, what are you going to do with the midfielders? Personally, I would actually put Bont up forward. That's what I would do.
That's interesting.
Probably more Norton as your lead up forward. Bont, still, you got to play him to the middle, like 75-25 split. I would have thought forward. mid.
I was kind of thinking Dunkley maybe. Just as
He's not a lead up forward.
No, I know.
And he's actually not a real good kick for goal. Not that Bont is either, but at least he provides a marking target. Like, you can't put Chalor up there. You're not going to put Baz Lenke. You're not going to put Lockie Hunter.
Dale Williams. None of those
Libba.
blokes. Yeah.
You just
it's not happening.
You won't. It has to be really Dunk or Bont. And I'd be leaning Bont.
Yeah.
Or again, do you put
It's
Tim
real
English
hard.
in the forward line and then try to replicate what Richmond did in 2017? Run with a smaller ruck, maybe someone like Keith, just a pinch hit. But then if you do that, that opens up yet another hole in an already porous backline that is crying for a key back.
So we can guarantee that Caleb Daniel will be lead up forward this week. Because
switching off the ball.
That option makes the least sense, so it will be Bevo's go-to.
It is for that particular reason, and you know what? I'm that angry. I'm just that angry.
You're not going to do this.
I'm doing this. I'm tipping the Hawks in a
Oh.
boil over. Tipping the Hawks in a boil over, fellas.
Dog of the week.
It's at UTAS. Okay,
Yep, cool.
The Dogs have played 5 games there. They've only won 1.
Yeah.
It's Clarko's. It's Clarko's farewell to it, and he's taking scalps. He's swinging dicks. He's taking scalps.
I don't like that.
He's gnawing at ankles.
Swinging dicks.
He's pecking
I
at
do like
eyes.
that.
That's funny.
I'm telling you.
I don't like the tip. I'm going to tip Dogs 1-39. I feel like the Dogs are still going to have the class to get over with. But, look, if there is a boil over, it's going to leave the Dogs in a real perilous position come season 10.
It's harder
Yeah,
than
they've
a
already
Doggies
made the
thing.
top 4, but you going in losing to teams like Hawthorn could be a real
Essendon.
quick
Even
You remember where you heard it first.
Yeah.
You heard it here first.
You tipping Dogs?
I got the Doggies.
Yeah, perfect.
I think it'll be close, though.
What are you looking at bets-wise?
Well, bets-wise, I'm looking at Mitchell. I'm looking at McRae for 30+. I think that's pretty straightforward. I'm looking at Bont for 25+. I think that's pretty straightforward.
Yep.
I'm looking at Bailey Dale and Liam Shields for 20+ disposals each. I think that's pretty straightforward, just considering their form going in. And it wouldn't be a bet without a couple of little goals, little sausage rolls chucked in there as well. So I'm looking at the Bont and Dylan Moore for a goal apiece down at UTAS.
The only one that gives me pause is Bailey Dale was a forward before he moved to defence this year. Could he see the magnets switched?
He's shorter than you. I don't see that.
I don't think he is.
No.
I think that's hard to
What,
believe.
shorter than you or not moving up forward?
Well, definitely shorter than me.
Des, why are you angry? Who's angry in this game and why? Hawks are angry. Why? Why are the Hawks angry?
Well, I might jump straight on the Doggies. Doggies are angry for 3 letters. ACL.
Also true.
Angry that ACLs exist. That's why they're angry.
I would have thought the Hawks would be pissed because Clarko all of a sudden is
Yeah.
doing great.
Coach,
with
well,
Shies
just
and
say,
team.
Just say...
You
No, 'cause
can
he's going
imagine what he's
Call
been
of
doing
Duty.
standing on the side of
Call of
training.
Duty.
He's been standing on the side of training all year, just no instructions. Just
Yeah,
go on.
Yeah, kick.
Yeah, all right. Training's finished, boys, and that's it. Done for the day.
Well, a bit of
Now
that.
he's back out there coaching, and they're like, "What is this? Where's this been for the last 2 years?"
Saving the best for last. All right, let's move to the Adelaide Oval on your Saturday. It is the Port Adelaide Power taking on the Carlton Blues. Gee whiz, fellas. How is the fortunes of these teams coming into this one? Very interesting. It's a tale of two teams.
You know, you look at Port Adelaide and they're like Carlton's dream. I feel like they're like Carlton's dream because Port have brought in, like, well, Rockcliffe retired today, so
He did.
happy
RIP.
retirement, mate.
RIP
But
to
like
the pig.
players like Rockcliffe, even bringing in Alira, like I know Alira wasn't actually like one of the big like come to us, but they've got Fantasia. They brought in all these players, recruited all these players, I should say, and they've actually played really well. Like I didn't think Orazio would be anywhere near the level he'd be. Alira, I respectfully, like one of my favourite players anyway. Like, we knew he was great, but now he's got a bit of mainstream. You kind of know what I mean? But then Carlton
Burton,
there,
McKenzie.
oh, like...
Keep it going.
Just, you list them, and these players are coming into Port, and they're playing well, and now Port are obviously top 4 side, playing great.
You watch Jack Billings add to that next year.
What about Carlton?
potentially.
What about Carlton? They bring in, and we don't have to say it every week, we do, but you think Williams, like, I've touched this button more times in the season than Williams gets during any game. Who has ever seen me touch this button? Comment. You've never seen me touch it. Sard's come in, underwhelming. Like all these players have come in, underwhelming. Like think about
Setterfield.
It's what they do.
Keep it
Think
going.
about it. It's what they do.
So really, easy as Port 40 plus. Bang.
It was a very long, meandering way of getting to a point that I
get what I
ultimately
mean, though?
agree with. I do agree with what you're saying.
I'm going Port 40 plus as well. I mean, Carlton they just did what Carlton do. They lost to a shite team, played like shite in the process. Walsh has got that bung ankle now. They reckon he's going to be fine to play, but I mean, you know, is he?
He's the next Cripps. Are you all right? No, I'm not. All right, well, you're starting mid.
Yeah, not 19 pain injections and get out there.
I'm not
Harry Mackay out. Harry Mackay's out. We saw what happened a few weeks ago when Harry Mackay didn't play. Terrible. Even worse than normal. And obviously they've had the bad news about Doherty as well. And that one is serious. Big rip to Doc.
Don't like that.
Big respect. Obviously the advisors send our love and best wishes. So look, they're just not going to be in a good place, I don't think, with news, especially with news like that, but with the injuries as well. So Port 40 plus is probably the easiest tip of the round for me.
I'm strongly on board with that. It looks like Carlton have killed another coach. That's where it seems to be going. And that will be monstrously unfair because of the last 3 coaches that Carlton's had. I feel like this one deserves the least to be getting sacked from his position. Now, if you're angry, Carlton would be angry just in general, just due to the last 13 years that may have well
Carlton
just not
supporters
existed.
would be, but I feel like if they were actually angry, they would make it like relevant changes, and they'd actually create some culture.
Well, this is the review.
You know what I
the
mean?
review is supposedly, as you're saying, about the football department, not the coach. But I promise you, it's going to be the coach that cops it in the dick, and there might be 1 or 2 little underlings that just sort of scrape barnacles off of president's boats that go as well.
I don't actually think that if you're that angry, then you get stuff done.
I'd be mad if I was a Carlton fan.
So
Man.
at the end of the day, like we haven't always been on Tigi's side in this room. There's been times throughout the year, the last 2 years, where we've sort of been up and down with him.
Yep.
He absolutely deserves another go around at least. Look what happened to Hardwick. He was there 8 years before they did anything.
Thank you.
You need time. The state the club was in when he got there. Absolute rabble.
The worst.
You know, they've made a lot of progress in 2 years. They've gone from being foot of the table to at least
Competitive.
Oh, they should have. They should be sniffing
possibly
around finals.
sniffing around finals, like you said. So just give them another year or two, and just it's because they're Victorian. Because it's a Victorian team, they want instant
The big
success.
4, one of the old 4, the old firm.
Got to give him time.
Yeah.
Got to give him time.
Ali's going to feast. No McKay, as you said. The man's in ripping form. Carlton love a big bomb forward, and that's the end of that. Carlton 0-4 at Adelaide Oval as well. They've played 4 games there thus far against Port and Crows, lost all 4 of them.
So easiest tip of the round.
Something else to be angry about there. Port got anything to be angry about? I mean, their fans are constantly angry, always angry.
No, Port are angry, and they even said this on the broadcast of the showdown that every time they play a top 4 side or a side of any premiership relevance, just Porter
the record
in the
gets
shadow,
busted out.
you know.
Yep.
Porter in the shadow, and Hinckley always brings it up. So, and I think that's a big thing going into September because
To me,
Hinckley bringing it up. Why would he does not need to bring that? He
Don't feed into it.
That is in his head, and that's going to be in their head.
Well,
now.
not only
think
that,
you're right.
but if you're getting angry about that, there's an easy solution. A real easy
Start
solution.
winning. Win.
These guys,
Win.
man, they've got it.
Win.
Easy.
That's all we have
easy.
to do.
But
So
yeah,
Port 40 plus all
Port
three?
40 plus all round, baby.
Port will be angry that they almost lost the showdown. Port will be angry that Adelaide Crows.
The only thing I'll say about that is, right, look at all the other contenders. What did they do on the weekend? They all lost.
Shafted the bed, as an man says.
And Port still managed to hold on. So,
Yeah, but GWS and Essendon are a lot different to Adelaide.
100%.
Just to put it out there.
You can only play who is in front of you, and you can only answer the scramble questions that are put in front of you as well. Fellas, I think it is time that we had one of Dez's 60 seconds, said with a hand, like 60, like yeah, you know.
Well, I'm going to have to cut you off there.
Oh, was it? Yeah?
Because we're not doing a 60-second scramble. Me and Des discussed this.
We're going off-road.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah. I'm angry.
We're changing that.
I am angry.
No. Me and Des set this up
tricked
beforehand, mate. We just wanted to do a little bit of Ashton.
We wanted to
Kutcher
make you
pumped on
angry because we know the OC distal bone in your body.
Right now,
frustrated by
fuming,
this.
and we knew you were angry. So why not poke the bear?
I tell you.
I was right at the start of the pod.
Why not make him angrier? Go on, hold your breath. Do it. Go on. Pop veins. Go on. Come on. Good.
What have you got, fella?
All
What
right,
have you got?
I've got my AMA segment. So answer me, asshole. So I'm just gonna ask you a few questions. A bit like the scramble, but not like the scramble because it's actually good.
There it is.
And also, it's a bit of a team effort. So but I want answers from both of you. And they're not related to footy. They've got nothing to do with footy players. Maybe occasionally, but you won't hear too much footy chat around here for the next 5 or so minutes.
Good, because I know 5 players.
Great. That's more than I expected.
And
to be
Harry
honest with you.
Schomburg is 4 of them. Yeah.
All right. Okay. First question. Assuming all the food never goes off, how long would it take you to eat an entire grocery store's worth of food? Never goes off. Never goes off.
It just depends. It's such a broad question because I don't know how big the grocery store is, but like
There's that.
a 20-aisle grocery store. I'm thinking. That's
20?
That's a 20 aisle is like a regular. Oh, no, but that's got like
think
cleaning
10.
products and
Yeah,
stuff as
I
well.
don't go to
10
too many
aisles.
grocery stores with 20
10
aisles.
aisles.
Mostly 10.
Well,
10,
no, hang
10,
on.
12.
Are we doing this for time, or are we just
I
doing
want to
this?
know how long it would take you
Yeah,
to
but
get through it all.
I'm saying,
month.
are we doing this?
A month?
Are we doing this?
Probably
for,
a month, realistically.
Are we doing this for time, or are we just like your everyday eating schedule? Like just you eat when you want, you eat
Do you
when
know
you're
what?
hungry, or whatever. Do you know what I mean?
If it helps your, whatever you said before, OCD penis brain, if it helps that out, yes, for time. How fast could you do it?
3.5 weeks.
And I'm working with this idiot, and that's all I've got.
If you want-
if we're together,
if
2
you wanna
weeks.
make
Together
it-
as individuals.
if you wanna
If we're
make it-
together 2 weeks,
okay,
easy.
Team effort.
Okay.
2 weeks, done. Easy. I reckon we can do it.
Nah, man, nah. So you're not thinking about like the fucking nut aisle for a start. Do you know what I mean?
I'll
Like
smash
you'll
the
get a
nut aisle.
handful of mixed nuts and you'll eat them and you'll be like, bro, and you'll need to sit down and that'll be you for a good.
And we haven't
3
even got
hours.
to the part of the question where I ask you about your ongoing health issues from doing this. No, we're joking.
Honest
There
to
is none.
God, if it never goes off, I reckon you'd be talking dead set.
And obviously, like
closer to-
for the frozen section, like I'm not expecting you to eat it frozen. Like
Air fryer.
there's appliances
Air fryer.
to cook. Right?
So, honest to God, I'm thinking 3 months, man. It'd be closer to 3,
Yep.
maybe even pushing 4
For team effort,
for team.
Month.
For team effort.
Month.
singular.
Yeah.
Singular, I reckon that pushes out to 8, 9,
Yeah.
I don't reckon.
longer, 10 even. 10.
You have gotten fat lately. For those of you who watched the pod a while ago and saw how ripped he was, it's not like that anymore.
There's a reason why I got this jersey on and not the rig out.
Butterbean, baby.
Gone from 8-pack to 3.
Desmond Van Butterbean. Oh, that's actually got a nice ring.
Gone from Des to a
box
DOS.
Butterbean.
All right.
Eric
Now-
Ash, I'm adding you. Come at me.
I've got a would you rather. All right.
Oh, I love these.
Now, would you rather be blind and deaf? So you're
Jesus.
both, all right?
Okay,
Blind
sure.
and deaf.
I already know I'm
or
probably gonna be the
you're trapped
next.
in a barnacle bills for the rest of your lifetime.
Barnacle Bills.
For the rest of your lifetime. You never leave.
I'm going to be blind and deaf. What are you going to do to me? Touch me. That's the only sensation I've got.
I think-
It's all right. And I'll be like, Dan, is this you? And you're rubbing my nips, mate. Like, what? How are we going to? Will you touch my face or something?
No, the hands
Barnacle
too-
Bills,
The hand's too big. It's
easily.
Me. I go the barnacle bills.
Yeah.
I go the
I
barnacle.
mean,
bills.
it's comfortably the more delicious route.
It's hugely so.
But
Yeah.
how long's your lifespan if you're only eating deep fried seafood?
There's a bit of that.
How long's your lifespan if I can't,
not only
if I
that,
can't see or
say, for
hear?
example, for whatever reason, you don't develop massive health issues only eating deep fried
Yeah,
fast
you have
food.
omega-3, mate. I live to
Yeah, you-
400.
Yeah, exactly. You're trapped within the 4 walls of barnacle bills for the next 60 years.
No,
Yeah,
you're assuming-
I can just sit here and play ROMs, mate. I'm
See,
lappy.
you're
You want to
ass-
hope you brought that in with you, otherwise it's going to be a bleak existence, mate.
you'd be playing the game of put your head in the deep fat fry is what you'd be doing.
Yeah.
No, look, Dad said, you were making the assumption that barnacle bill is going to be there for the next 60 years. Now, I would happily, convince someone that comes into a barnacle bills over that time frame that I'm there, or one of the workers potentially, just convince them to burn the store down,
Yep.
to bomb it, to a level that make the building non-existent anymore, thus releasing me from this curse. There's always a way out of these things.
Almost just turned into
Blind
a
and
strip
deaf.
club.
Do you know what I mean? Like, fuck it, yeah. Why not?
Yeah.
Blind and deaf, you can't. Jeepers, like you're reduced in your capabilities.
Yeah,
aren't you?
it's hard. What would the answer change if I said you were just blind?
No, I'd prefer to be deaf.
I'd much rather be deaf.
Yeah.
Blind.
So-
I like
okay.
seeing stuff, man.
So if you were if the option was deaf,
Yeah.
right?
Well, barnacle bills,
You'd
I'd
rather
be
be
deaf all
than
day.
spend your life in a barnacle bills.
I'd rather be deaf.
No, I genuinely reckon
I'd rather be deaf than barnacle bills.
I genuinely-
Barnacle bills is the option no matter what.
I reckon I could manipulate someone into firebombing the shit out of it.
All right,
No.
cool.
Yeah.
I had a bit of a historical question for you because you like these sorts of things, right?
I've got your back. This is me.
The year is 1200. All right,
Good, yeah.
1200.
Do you know what was going on back then?
Like knights and shit.
Pretty much.
Merlin,
He's
King
right.
Arthur.
Yeah,
Right.
Fair.
You have in your possession one tank, right? One army tank, unlimited ammo.
Yeah,
all right?
sure.
So because you can't
Sick.
get out of it, you're trapped inside it. There's endless food, whatever.
Yeah.
Can you take over the entire world using one
Yeah,
tank
of
and
course
one
you
tank
can.
only?
Easily.
No.
Not the entire world because of the oceans and stuff. That's my point. Oceans. Bang.
Okay. So their seafaring capabilities in 1200 was wooden boats. Okay. It's a mighty, mighty strong boat that will be able. And I understand a tank is not going to be as heavy as some of the other utensils and things they used to carry around on boats.
I knew this would.
This is what you
If
got.
the,
You
if,
knew
the
what was
Ti-
coming.
if the Titanic sunk in 1912 or whenever it sunk
Yeah.
because of an iceberg,
Yeah.
Des's tank is sinking because it's heavy.
Well, look, they're heavy.
I mean, you would be the only man stupid enough to drive your one tank into the middle of the ocean, though. That therein ends your.
Can I drive underwater?
No, you can't. It's a tank.
And it's the year 1200.
Yeah.
Like,
okay, so let's assume you're plonked in like England. Okay, you're plonked in London in 1200. There's not a lot going on.
Good luck getting China.
There's not a lot going on. Well, if you want to go to Europe, you're going to have to go over the Channel. Okay, it's a tough voyage in a wooden boat, regardless. You've got your prized asset, a tank, on one wooden boat. If that gets sunk, see you later. Grand plan for world domination. So you may as well just leave your tank in London, make London into this giant fortress, England rather.
Get out of your tank, you said.
Yeah, well, I mean, theoretically, no, you can't because you're in there to dominate the world.
I get it painted up like a dragon. I'll be telling people I've got access to a dragon. What are you going to do about it? I'll be getting primitive scientists to be like, yo, fool, look at this. Build use the technology, build
I'd never leave
replicas.
It.
Well, this is the thing. You couldn't.
I'd never leave it.
Well,
because I'd get killed.
And that was barnacle build. We moved on. Moved on. No, you couldn't. No, you couldn't is the short answer.
Right.
No, you couldn't.
Cool. All right. Last one, and it is an AFL related question because I actually thought this one was quite funny. I did find this one online for a different sport, so forgive me. All right.
Hit it.
Now, who would you both say is the most dominant AFL player of all time? Just call it best. Who's the best player? Who's your favourite player? Best player.
Best player of all time? Maybe your child. Nah, Gary Ablett. Best player of all time? Junior.
Best player of all time.
Greatest player of all time. Gary Ablett Jr. Oh, even. Gary Ablett Jr.
It's either him or Lee Matthews.
Okay.
Yeah.
So one of those two?
I was going to say Lethal Lee was sitting there.
So who then would be the best player of all time if everyone had to play naked?
Lee Matthews.
Would it still be the same players?
Lee Matthews.
I feel like it would have been real hard to be good back in the hardened 80s, 90s era if you were, rock solid while playing.
No, I don't.
Lee Matthews would not care.
I promise you now, you look at pictures of Lee Matthews when he was playing in the 80s, all right, the man had a good rug poking out. He had the big, thick mo.
His shorts, you could see everything anyway. I've seen it. I've already seen it.
He's bang on. He's joking, but he's the big, thick brows, the big, bushy hair. I promise you get that kid off. And that
anyway.
That pipe,
changes, yeah.
That pipe will be hiding in and amongst the scrub like a
Zohan.
Like it would be genuinely. You ever seen Harold and Kumar 2 when they go over to that Arab bloke's place in Miami and he's having a bottomless party?
Yes.
And then he takes his Dax off and they're like, it looks like Osama bin Laden's beard. And it's just the tiniest fraction of helmet poking out. I promise you, it would be pretty similar.
Like Mr. Chow.
Like Lee wouldn't care. Lethal wouldn't care. This is a man that broke a goalpost. Do you honestly think he'd care about not playing?
The only player I'd throw into the ring, I think Mark Jacko Jackson would have something to say about that because I feel like that man would not only use his body as a weapon, but he would stuff that.
Wayne Carey would be very good, I reckon.
In places you wouldn't want to know about because that's just the kind of player he was.
Wank Carey.
That is just the kind of player Jacko was. And if he had that to his advantage...
Yeah. Can you imagine someone going for a goal and Jacko's there, what are you ranking this, mate? Woo! Swinging it around.
Would the game be more watchable or less?
Depends your interests are.
I wouldn't like it personally.
All right, I'm going to call it there. That's the end of AMA for another week. Nice one, boys. That was good.
I like that.
That was huge. That was huge. Speaking of huge, very interesting game here on your Saturday. It's down at GMHBA Stadium. The Geelong Cats taking on the St Kilda Saints. Both coming off very interesting weeks for these two. I'm intrigued. First things first, does anyone know if Danger's playing or not? As we film, is he in, is he not?
I've heard nothing.
Yeah,
a bit of a test.
It's interesting. You'd think he'd be in. You'd
Danger
think he'd
show,
be
mate.
in.
Do you reckon?
Danger show.
I think they said it was hospital, but they said it was precautionary.
Yeah,
and they reckon
that's
he's all right.
true. I was going to say, it wasn't like a concussion, it was a throat thing. Like, it wasn't like he got
a
knocked
bruised
out,
larynx or laryngeal.
Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah.
Have some herbal tea, mate. You'll be right.
A couple of soothers.
I would have thought gargle, saltwater gargle,
yeah.
saltwater gargle. Look, Cats can't win a game if you're kicking 8 goals 17. Now, if you dish up an 8 goal 17 attempt against the Saints team that all of a sudden seem to have found a bit of heart and a bit of sparkle again against another premiership or would-be premiership contender, I think the Saints would roll them. I honestly don't think the Cats are that bad that this Cats team is not bad enough to lose 2 games in a row at GMHBA Stadium.
Well. And the thing is, they kicked 8 goals 17, but if you look at like these two teams and like it's all well and good to jump on the bandwagon and say like, Saints are obviously going to roll them because Geelong have lost form. They're losing their goal kicking. But St Kilda all year have kicked 8 goals 17. They've kicked worse. 8 goals 22. I think they kicked.
They do that regularly, very regularly.
That is horrendous. 8 goals.
That's why their percentage is the way it is.
Trash.
You know,
Yeah, no, they're horrible.
they would have got spanked those few times anyway. That was happening irrespective of what they were kicking. But
Correct.
it would have been lessened. But they just can't kick straight. They've been that way for years.
I think of Geelong last year because I obviously, and I'm bringing this up for the fifth time.
To rub it in, yeah.
I had them to win the flag last year.
we're
Obviously, I'm upset by that.
True.
But
Angry.
that means that I analysed a lot of the Geelong games going into finals, like in the build-up to finals. And Geelong lost games going into the finals.
I would love to sit down with Des and do an analysis session of a football game.
Bang.
I really would.
Live stream.
Yeah.
What do you reckon, Des? Is he sculling bottles of rosé?
Yes, he would be.
The clod.
You know what I mean, though? Like they need a loss to get better. I'll analyse. I'm good at. I'll analyse a game with you one day.
I'm keen. Let's do it this weekend. Cats, I maintain that. They're just not losing in a row at home. Interestingly, the Saints drew with the Cats in 2015, and it has been 6 straight victories by Geelong ever since.
It's about to be 7.
Look, the Cats
Right,
clearly...
Phil Thorpe's number, mate.
They clearly match up
7.
well against the Saints. I would be stunned. If the Saints bring that... If the Saints bring that same intensity as they did against Sydney, who were equally quite disappointing by their own standards, I think they're a chance, but I just don't see it.
That is the problem in and of itself, though, because they just don't have that consistency in them. They just don't. Haven't all year. They haven't for a few seasons. So, I mean, look, I would love to tip St Kilda here because I'd like to see a nice little close race for 8th spot, but Cats 1-39 for me.
Will O'Connor tag Steele?
Nah.
Is Steele taggable?
No.
I would agree with you on that.
I don't think
he would need to. I don't think they'll be in a position where he needs to anyway.
I think you just back if you're Geelong, you just back your structure in at home, don't you?
You would.
That's what
you would.
They do that every time. They'll be fine. Geelong will be fine. They'll bounce back and win here.
So cats.
Strongly agree. And if I'm the Saints, I'm going to be pretty angry, mate, because they lose this and that's that.
Well,
yeah, pretty much.
And
Geelong are going to be angry because they lost at home to the Giants.
Of all people.
To the Giants. Drew with North Melbourne. In Tassie.
How embarrassing.
Actual.
Let's talk bets. I'm talking Jack Steele 25. He's my boy, and I'm riding in. I'm taking that horse down the Old Town Road.
Mark Jacko territories.
Hugely.
All right, little nasty rich.
I love that. Stuart Higgins of the Sean variety. And Rowan Marshall, 20 disposals, all for those lads. And Radaglia and Steele, anytime goals.
Go Sav.
Yep.
Sav is in some form.
He is.
Very comfortable with
Absolutely.
those.
Like that.
Good. Cool.
Very comfortable. Let's move it on. Saturday night, we're at the Gabba, potentially. Now, these are all, I should say, all of these schedules that we've got here, this is based off of a Fox Footy post they put up earlier on the day of recording. So things could have changed a million times in between when we recorded and when you're watching this. If so, as Krusty the Clown once famously said, me so solly. We're just going on the information that we've got currently. But it's looking like Brisbane versus Collingwood at the Gabba on a Saturday night. Dan, what's going to happen?
Look, Lions should be angry.
Yes.
They should be angry because everyone wrote them off, including us.
I did.
All three of us were
I still
right
have.
We'll write off them. That was a massive win, you know, and we all love Fags on this podcast, and I was real happy for him.
Man of the Year 2020, Des Man of the Year.
Absolutely, yeah. GQ's Man of the Year. Time Man of the Year, everything.
Yep.
The whole kit and caboodle. He is one of the better coaches in the AFL, and you could see the passion he had for that team week in, week out when they were getting spanked, and it just wasn't good. But now, back in the driver's seat again, so it's impossible not to tip them against the Pies here, coming off a loss to Hawthorn. The Pies, though, they do have some good kids coming through. Like some of them actually played quite good games, even though they lost. Like Finley McRae, Jack Ginnivan was good, and Ollie Henry looks like he's a pretty handy sort. So I'm gonna be tipping the Lions, but I liked a little bit of what I saw from the Pies.
10 debutants for the Pies this year,
Not
something
bad.
like that. Most in the league.
That's all you can ask for a team that's rebuilding.
That's what they want. Like that's
what I'm interested in is why do the Lions seem to play better without Lachie Neale in the team? It's like that Patrick Dangerfield effect. When there's no star in the team, everyone else just picks themselves up by the bootstraps. When he's in, they're like, we'll just let Lockie do it.
Notice how Hawthorn got rid of Buddy and then decided to go win a couple of flags.
It happens.
It's interesting.
It happens. You'd be tipping the Lions here, surely.
I've got Lions. I don't know if I'm not sold on them winning the flag this year. I'm just not sold. I know anyone can win the flag this year because everyone's losing to everyone, but...
I'm not going to sit here and say I'm backing them for the flag again. Like, if you've got your money on them, leave it for now. leave it for now. But,
Or if you're thinking about doing it, get on it now because once they're going to pants Collingwood bad.
But
And they'll go
going
from like $8. I think they're $8.
you'd rather
right
go
now,
into finals beating teams in the manner they just dispatched of Freo.
Hugely, not just winning.
Yeah, but I think
mauling.
you can't jump on the bear. They did lose to Hawthorn and St Kilda the week before, and they lost to Richmond. I think they were on a three game losing streak.
They were on a
weren't
slide. Look,
that's you're 1-3 in the last month. One win doesn't really show. So this game is bigger than what they like. Well, they beat Collingwood by 10 points. I'm not going to be as impressed as like last week. You know what I mean? Like one win in a month. I'm going to have a look.
I'm back on the lines. They out-tackled the Dockers 71-35 on the weekend. They bring
That's huge.
They
That is
bring
big.
that again. They will melt the pies, and that will be the end of that. I'm sorry. Any team that's relying on blokes by the name of Ginnivan, Bianco, Rusco,
Excuse me.
McRae, and Henry.
leave Ginnivan out of this.
Sorry,
Whilst-
I take it back. They actually pants Gold Coast, but
Ooh.
they lost the first half
first
of that.
half, yeah.
Real bad, dirty.
But you are right.
Dirty.
You're right.
Any team that's relying on all those kids, I'm sorry, you're coming up against the Brisbane outfit that's too experienced, too mature, and they're playing for finals. Collingwood's not. Collingwood is not. We don't know who's going to be playing there next year. We don't even know who's going to be coaching. What are they playing for?
Degoe's assault charges getting dropped is absolutely the best thing that's happened to the Pies this year, though. Comfortably.
You would be happy if you're the Pies after that.
Absolutely.
We'll divert instead of angry. If you're the Pies, you're happy.
Happiness.
Degoe's back on the streets.
Oh, that might not be a good thing. That might not be a good thing.
Let's talk a couple of bets here. Bets. What I'm looking at. Again, no markets up at the time of recording. We're winging it. We're looking at stats, things that we like. When I say we, I mean me, because these two have got
I've got
issues.
notes.
And I'm sensible.
That's also
Look
true.
at my notes.
Yeah,
They're Rich's notes from last week.
that's also true. And they're written in crayon. Get out of it. Look, I'm looking at Lions, Klug, Zorko, Adams, DeGoey for 5. The big 5,
25.
25 apiece. That's going to pay a bit by itself.
I knew it.
And Zorko an anytime goal.
Yep.
He's back in that form.
Mm-hmm.
He's leading these boys to the promised land. So those
I like
six,
it.
those
I
six
love
together,
Zorko.
they'll be paying.
Don't hate Zorko.
Psychic powers here. Those 6 together, $10. There you go.
Somewhere in that vicinity,
Somewhere in that
probably.
vicinity.
Did you say Klug 25?
I did.
Yeah, 25 for the first time in a few weeks. He's
back.
No Lockie Neal.
He's back.
He's free.
Lions are back.
Free falling.
Speaking of free falling, let's head over to Saturday night's game at Marvel Stadium, potentially. It is the North Melbourne Kangaroos, and they will be taking on a very disappointing Sydney Swans outfit, who did lose last week in a very unconvincing, disappointing fashion. Des, surely the Swans are getting up.
I've got the Swans to get up here, but I feel like this is very similar to the Doggies game. Like, it could get hairy. It could get hairy because North are, like...
It's been exciting.
Well, they've been exciting,
They've
and
been
they
improved.
know, like, let's be realistic here. They're going to get that first pick. Like, it's really unrealistic for them not to. Like, it's...
They won't trade that.
I don't think it really, like, pick 1 or pick 2. It's like...
You would imagine
The
they'll
gap between
probably
them.
have a look at Nick Dacos and force Collingwood to bid on him.
Well, I kind of think that they'd probably go for Sam Darcy because
I-
they
I'll-
need a key forward.
Yeah,
and I really wonder, does the Bulldogs in the next 12 to 24 months have room in their forward line for Norton and Jamara and possibly Sam Darcy?
Well, they would certainly have room in the next 12 months without Bruce.
Well, yeah, but he will come back.
Oh, I
He'll
know.
come back and he will expect to slot straight in.
But Bruce is he's getting towards 30 as well.
It's interesting. You
He's
see
been around
what-
the traps. I know what you mean, though. Yeah, for sure.
Can you really have 2 blokes in their first 2 years of footy being your 2 lead-up targets if you're genuinely gunning for a flag? It's an interesting dilemma.
What else would the Dogs need, though?
Key back. They need a key back and they need an established key forward. But enough about
Anyway.
the Dogs. Talk to me about North. Are they losing or are they winning? Surely losing.
Sydney
Well, they're losing.
Sydney are going to turn it up here, and then I don't know if they're going to smash the Roos here, but they're going to win. They're going to get the dub on the board.
This is actually matching up as a really good battle. Like just on paper, if you take form aside and where they are on the table, no more about that. Hickey versus Goldie in the ruck.
That's
Good.
nice.
That's good. Now consider the midfield. Now RIP to Big Ben Cunnington, taking some time out. Bless up, love and respect. You look at Anderson, who's come back in for North and been instantly quite serviceable.
Hard as a whale's cock, that bloke.
He's as hard as a cat's skull, and I bloody love it. But when you've got a haircut like that, you got to be.
Absolutely. And he backs up.
It genuinely does. You've got Simpkin, who's having a breakout year.
Yep.
You've got the emerging Davies Uniacke. Okay,
LVU.
you do, and then you've got Hall bouncing off of the halfback flank, going up against Sydney's midfield, of which there has been much written, minus Callum Mills potentially.
I've heard that he's not going to be playing this
What's
week.
going on with Millsy?
That's my mail. Achilles. He got an Achilles injury.
That's always tough.
In the pre-game
Especially when
warm-up.
you're young too.
About 5 minutes before first bounce last week.
See, I watched the second and the
crucified a
third
lot of,
quarter on a Sunday.
A lot of the fantasy community.
Or you watched it back. Sorry, mate. But yeah, I watched it back. I watched back the second and third quarter of this Sydney and Saints game last week. Oh, Sydney just looked a little bit like... when they played Hawthorn, they're just behind it.
The Pride game, big shout out.
That's what it was.
They're just behind it. A little bit like when they played Hawthorn, and then they come back and they'll come back and win this. I think this is like the loss that they had against St Kilda is what's going to happen in finals. So they're just going to come up against a better side and just lose by 20, 30 points. You know, like they'll come and they'll look like they are behind. But we'll preview that when it comes.
Can we start calling for next year now the Sydney versus St Kilda game? Can we start calling it the L game BT?
Yes,
because we need some sort of a.
I like it.
We need some sort of a name for it.
Yeah,
done.
I felt the gay game was just a bit inappropriate.
Yeah.
It's not good enough. You can get cleverer than that. I think.
When does this looks like it's going to be played? Is it Saturday night?
It is.
There'll be a
the L game BT.
L game BT drinking game.
No, that was last week. It's for Sydney St Kilda.
Yeah,
that's the L game BT.
Oh.
Jeez.
He can make another drinking game for that.
Make another drinking game. Jump on the Facebook page. We'll have a drinking game for you. Swans are winning. That's the end of that. Move on. Job done. We will talk bets, though, very, very quickly, if I can find them. Caught me on the hop. Aaron... no, I don't have anything else. Forget it. Aaron Hall, 30.
Paul Hall.
Oh, God. You're going to make me do it, aren't you?
Go on, yeah. Go on. Get a cutler out.
Aaron Hall's creaming soda for 30 disposals.
Good.
Jai Homer Simpkin for 20 plus, 25, please.
Yep.
Jake, Lloyd, and Harry from Dumb and Dumber
Good.
For 25 disposals.
Nice.
Luke South Parker for 25 as well, please. Jordan Dawson's Creek, he'll have 20 disposals if I know him.
I don't want to wait. Is that that song? Yeah.
I believe so, yeah. Yeah, and Michael Jordan Dawson to have at least one goal as well. So there's my 6 legs, and that'll be paying tasty.
You know, I would be very similar, but for Jai Simpkin to be Jai, I'd simp for you. He lol Simpkin.
Nicknames are supposed to be, short and roll off the tongue to some
But
degree.
that does.
Most of mine are though. Let's roll it on. Boys. Yeah, wind it back. Wind it absolutely back.
Wind your neck in.
Wind your neck in because it is absolutely, once again, time for...
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard. Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it.
Dummy of the week.
Gentlemen, it is the mighty return of Dummy of the Week. We didn't do it last week, but the things that we didn't do last week number in the hundreds. It was unfortunate. In fact, so actually, based off of that, put me down for Dummy of the Week. Dead set, because we had this ripping show. It was a genuinely good show.
It was actually good.
It was genuinely good show.
I'm upset.
And it will be forever lost. It's in podcast format, so jump on the Facebook page. You
don't know. Some bloke probably picked it up and put it in his hard drive at home.
In his collection.
Yeah, and he's now masturbating to 3 men sat in front of a green screen talking football and statistics.
What's
I'm
wrong with that? If any of our viewers do that, then...
Starting OnlyFans. So apologies for that to the fam, to the brethren. Big apologies. But I do have some dummies to speak of. One for mine, straight out the game, is Jason Dunstall and Jared Waitley on AFL 360 the other evening.
This is going to be bad. Those two names.
I was angry at this. They were absolutely behind Toby Green going for a good 2 weeks. And they're both there saying, oh, well, look, you can't have kids looking at this behaviour. He led with the elbow. There was deliberate action. He led with that. Can't have kids seeing this. No, it's just disgraceful behaviour. Oh, all the rest of it.
I didn't realise Robbo was on the panel, mate. I thought it was Dunstall and Heat.
You look up Dunstall's highlights. It's literally him just decking everyone.
Well, we love that with hair.
I'm not. That's not even a diss.
And they're both there going, oh, I love Toby Green. You don't have to give him a little like to start with. No, just
Hummer and chicken feed.
All in one, but don't. just get to the point. You don't like Toby. You don't like how he plays the game. You want him to get penalised. Now, you can't be sitting there saying, oh, we don't want the kids to see it, because the kids all last week watched Buddy Franklin stick out the people's elbow and murder a man, and the league was like, it's fine, what's up with that? Good, you know what?
Or Joel Selwood eyeing up Sam Taylor's side of the head.
in the same game, and then he gets off with a fine. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's that annoyed me. The bias from old Jared is the big. I'm sorry. Look, Jared Waitley, professional, good, well spoken. He's eloquent. You know, he's got a lot to say. Interesting fella, sure. He is very clearly a paid AFL plant who sits there and toes the party line, and it just gets real old on a weekly basis. Jeepers, Jared, just go off the reservation for once.
Yep.
The other big dummy for mine, the 5-minute fireman. He's back. It's Big Kane Corns. Big Kane Corns.
Oh, he's never out of the news for too long.
No, well, this is a controversial one, so I've got to tread softly around this. He pissed off as hell that Taylor Walker didn't front the media over the racial brouhaha that erupted in the last week or so. Within 24 hours of that, Kane's saying, "Oh no, needs to come out and face the media." So within 24 hours, Taylor Walker comes out, puts out a video apology. Regardless of what you think of it, regardless of whether or not you feel it was scripted or it was insensitive or it was just tokenistic, doesn't matter about that. The man went out and did it, and Kane instantly on the front foot saying, "Nah, not good enough. That's not cutting the mustard. He needs to front the media. He needs to be owning up to it." And it's like, what more does he need to do? I'm not defending the man's actions. He's paid his 20 grand. He's out for 6 weeks. He's realistically done gigantic damage to his future earning potential going forward. Why do you need him to face the media? What, Taylor? Do you regret what you said? You do. Oh, okay. Would you do it again if you were in the same position? No. What are you going to get out of it?
And that is exactly the kind of stupid questions that they would get asked in front of the media. Look, again, we've got to toe the line a little bit here because it is a touchy subject.
Yeah, no, fair enough.
And none of us are going to defend Taylor Walker's actions.
Nursery Bob.
Absolutely.
Oh, well, Taylor is just as equal a dummy of the week. Like he is a dummy of the week. That's not the point you're making.
He is the lock for dummy of the week because what he did tops anything that anybody could ever do.
Too obvious though. Like it goes without saying. Don't be doing that.
But if it was good enough for Robbie Young to come and sit next to him while he did it, and it was good enough for Robbie Young to
the AFL in general
to be
because he wouldn't have.
No, of course he wouldn't.
Just think about the position you're in.
If he, I mean, to be honest, he has his estimates in my book have gone through the roof because that's a big man that takes that apology, mere days after the findings came out. If it's good enough for him, why is it not good enough for anyone else? Why do we have to keep going with it?
Kane wants a pound of flesh. He's reveling in the downfall of his nemesis.
I'll stop you there because it's not Kane that wants a pound of flesh. It is the entire media industry. I've seen multiple others say the same thing. Tony Armstrong, blah, 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 blah. It's not good enough for me, not good enough for me. Well, it was good enough for Robbie Young.
Yeah.
And that's all that matters. Tex is doing his time. As you said, this is going to affect him forever. This is going to follow him for the rest of his life. And that is all that he needs to know, really. He's done himself a big mischief, and it's good enough for Robbie Young that he apologised. So let's just move on.
Where was the media baying for the for blokes to front up and face the media and come clean and all the rest of it when Jack Stephen got stabbed by his missus for cheating on her? Whoops, if you didn't know about that one. You do now. Where was the media demanding that Buddy Franklin fronts the media when he was high on poppers and smashed his girlfriend's car into a fleet of other parked cars? Where was the media at that point saying...
If you didn't know that one.
Sorry if you didn't know that one. You do now. Shit. Where was the media being like, we want blood to come out and talk to us about it. Brr. Everyone's... I don't want to know.
Yeah.
Taylor Walker, hang him. Hang him. We're gonna grill him for a week straight of an interview. It's like shit. You can't change anything. Leave it be.
Racism, terrible. But bullying people, as the media is doing to Taylor Walker right now, is equally as bad. So let us
bully the bullies.
So let's please just leave him alone. Leave him alone.
We're bullying the bullies. And speaking of getting bullied, I think we need to move on to Sunday's game, in which we are looking at the Adelaide Crows taking on the Melbourne Demons at the Adelaide Oval. Doesn't really matter where this game's getting played, fellas, because let's be real, it's going to be a one-way ticket to Pound Town.
And it's not going to be a repeat of the last time these two teams played. We had our miracle on grass.
Yeah, Crows played their grand final against Port.
I think so, and lost it.
And it would be one of the worst grand finals I've ever seen in terms of skill level. But it was a grand final, right? Their midfield is looking good. Big baby Shoners.
Emerging.
He's rising.
Yes. Big toddler Shoners now, growing up.
Taking off. The Crows' forward line is more limp than a...
Jeepers creepers. Maybe you enjoy that sort of thing. We don't know. We don't want to know.
But it is, though.
Indeed.
Yeah. It is. Yeah. And look, we all think that Tom Lynch probably is not right to be earning a contract next year. Neither here nor there for you, Rich. I'm
not going to change much.
I'd personally be on the same bandwagon of sending him off. See you later. But there isn't really
We just
a lot.
don't have anyone.
There isn't really a lot in that forward line to fall back on.
No, I wouldn't have thought.
Without Tex, I mean, that means next year, realistically, you're looking at going into the year with Fogarty, Himmelberg, and Thilthorpe as your main options.
And what's McAdam doing? What's going on?
He's gone.
Haven't seen anything about McAdam.
So,
Bit
look, I
surprising.
mean, Crows are in a predicament. They're heading into next year in a predicament, and this game is going to be
That leaves Lockie Murphy as their on-field leader in that forward line.
It's good, isn't it?
That says a lot to you. I mean, there's
I
genuinely.
like Lockie Murphy, but that's not a good role to be.
We all love Lockie.
I'm sorry, there's just not much to say about this game. A few more
Nah.
performances like that from last week, maybe the Crows wouldn't be 17th right now, but it doesn't matter. Like,
Oh, I'm glad they are, though. We get another high pick. And
even if they had, it doesn't matter. Coming into this game, Melbourne looked great against the Eagles. The Crows looked tired. After the last week or two, they're going to be mentally just beaten to hell and understand. They were playing with, it was that us against the world, so let's all band together. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like hunkering down and lashing back out against Port. And you knew some sort of a fight was coming. They're now going to be tired and mentally just drained as hell this week. And no Riley O'Brien, so Gawn is going to have a feast. That's going to be the end of that.
not Kieran.
No, yeah, Kieran Strawn's back. He's
Feasting,
back.
baby, against
Against Ronald McDonald, literally.
Against, who's he facing again? I feel like the ruckman he's facing is quite good.
Max Gawn.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
For mine, I think possibly best in the league currently.
I don't think that's going to be good, Des.
What was he like? Minus how many meters gained? It was like minus he was already on the minus. Oh, because who did Strawn? Strawn played. He played Goldstein.
Yeah.
And then he went and he played. Who's the injured Gold Coast ruckman?
Wits.
Witts. He played Goldstein. He played Witts before Witts was
Dead.
like in form, because it was in 2020. They were the two games that he played. That's tough. That is tough. And now he's got to play Gawn.
It's a rough 3-game trial.
He's got 3 out of the top 5 ruckmen in form in 2021.
There's a good chance Riley O'Brien doesn't play round 23. Who have the Crows got?
I wouldn't have thought.
He's got Goldstein
He's got
again.
Goldie again.
Oh no, poor bloke. He's been playing well in the SANFL as well. He's getting a rough stick.
So if you're a Crows fan, you've got a lot to be angry about this week. It's the angry cast.
You can't be mad, Crows fans. You can't be mad.
If you're Melbourne, you'd be mad if you lose again.
Absolutely. But mad is a serious understatement.
You just can't.
Melbourne 40 plus for me.
And before we move on, Melbourne, people might say, West Coast were chipping back against Melbourne. Melbourne were on the plane the second that lightning struck. They were on the plane. You watched the last 2 minutes of that game. The bus was parked.
It was.
The bus was, and I'll tell you something about buses, because I am a bus, and I am relatives with the bus family, and Melbourne said, hey, Des, what's going on? And they parked that bus. That bus was parked.
Who rang you?
Mildred Bus.
Mildred Bus.
Aunt Mildred.
You are a clod of a man. All
Millie.
right, let's talk bets. Now this one's going to be pretty straightforward, I feel. Let's talk. Yeah, you're
Anyone on Melbourne to do anything? Money.
Any type of Melbourne goal. Andrew McPherson to get 15 plus, purely because I bought his training Guernsey from 2020.
That's not a flex.
Big flex. Yeah.
That's not a flex. Petraka 30 plus, easy.
That's a flex.
Oliver 30 plus, easy.
Mac.
Harms 20 plus easy. Stephen May 20 plus easy. Schonberg, I'm all in.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm chips in on
for
Shoners.
sure. Yeah.
20 plus for the big Sean. Yeah. And I think Petraka will treat himself to a little goal just because he can, because he's worth it. Because just enjoy it.
If anyone has a player edition Schonberg Guernsey, message me.
Go and buy one, you scab. All right, let's move on to the Sunday game.
Get me one while you're there, actually.
Pair of scabs.
Get around it.
You disgust me. All right, Sunday.
I'll buy one off someone.
Shut the... I'm going to punch you out, you clown. Right, Sunday at Metricon Stadium. Gentlemen, it is the Gold Coast Suns versus the Essendon Bombers. Talk to me, Dan. Who's winning this one?
All right, these two teams were basically the theme of the last round because they both just had these ridiculous upsets. I don't know if you'd call Suns and Carlton a massive upset, but they were, they just stuck with the theme.
Did you tip the Suns?
No.
There you go.
And I certainly didn't tip the Dons.
A bit of that.
Along with 99% of the population, but they got the job done, so good on them. The one thing I will, big shout out to the Suns for. Big shout out. It's the best thing that's happened in the AFL this season. Them beating Carlton ended Carlton's season. So if you achieve nothing else, you have made the entire AFL landscape much happier.
Fatality.
Imagine your season ending and it's Carlton, like the famous, prestigious Carlton, and you lose to Gold Coast to finish your season.
Rip.
Oh.
On the other end of the
And
spectrum.
you were beating them.
The other
Hertz
end of
donut.
the spectrum, what made me angry. Mm-hmm. It made me so angry. Mm-hmm. The Dons won one game against the Dogs, right? Mm. What do you reckon Channel 7 posted?
Oh, no. Flags.
Yeah, I said
Flags.
it to you.
Are they even in the 8?
Can the Dons win a prelim this year?
Oh, yeah. Well, why didn't you put that in dummy? That was perfect edition.
Because after you had the text talk, I was...
They're not even in the 8. They're not in the 8.
Yeah, that was what, 7 AFL?
And it's not even like it's a
Exactly.
percentage issue.
Exactly.
Like
They're not yet in the 8. They haven't even made the finals yet. I don't know if you know the exact date. They haven't won a final for over 6,000 days, Desmond.
Am I even 6,000 days old?
I don't believe you are.
Well, mentally,
when were you born?
certainly not.
I'll find out. When we keep talking, I'll find out. What's your birthday?
So, anyway,
October 3rd, 1999.
I'll look.
So over 6,000 days, they haven't won one final. They're going to go into this final series and win a prelim, make a grand final, Channel 7 reckons. Outrageous behaviour. I like the Dons. I want them to make the 8. They're playing good footy. I'm enjoying watching them play footy.
Oh, they're a great young team.
Let's just wind it in. Just a touch.
Okay, so you are 7,982 days old.
And how many were the Dons?
And it's not 6,000 on the dot. It's 6,600 and something. So you're not that much
So
older.
1,000, so really...
You were 4, basically.
You're about 4,
Yeah.
You were 4 years old the last time
So
Dons won a final.
really, I remember like 4 things.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yep, absolutely.
Pretty
They're
much.
all wrestlers.
Horrible.
Van Dam.
You're a sad man. Look, Gold Coast last week showed that they wanted it more, and I love that. And that's 90% of a football game. Just outworking
will.
and out hustling and outwilling your opposition. Essendon equally showed that they were bloody desperate to play a final this year, and everyone had them written off, as you said.
Well, they did get rolled by Giants the week prior. So
Exactly.
And that was their game to get that. You beat the Giants. That's when they jumped
You're
over
in.
to
Yep.
get into the finals.
And,
so.
and I guess for me,
I respect it.
what that sort of like settles, you know how there's a lot of this talk about whoever makes the 8, they're the worst, going to be the worst 8th place, 7th place teams of all time. Well, that might be the case, but we've just seen a round of upsets. All it takes is just get hot at the right time. That could potentially spur the Bombers on to do that.
And there'll be 10 other teams that won't do it.
Exactly.
So, hey, good on you. If you make
agree.
it, good on you. Good on you. Sun's smaller defence, I think, is going to be troubled by the random emergence of Peter Wright, who will be facing. He's coming in just into form, just to come up against his old side.
Yep.
That will be interesting. I think he possibly pigs out.
7
Maybe
metre
not
Peter.
not 7 again. Put him down for 3.
Respect that.
7 metre Peter.
Put him down for
What a performance.
7-inch Peter.
7
Nah, he's been bigger than that.
7 litres.
Way bigger.
Pour it on the Peters. Yeah, look, Draper to go bang, I think. Zach Smith has just been a bloke in the middle there, and I think he's coming to the end of it, unfortunately. As good as Tuke Miller is, and as good as Noah Anderson was, and as good as some of those... Will Powell as well just decided to have his best game ever.
Huge.
I think the Bombers have been more consistent. They're a little bit more polished, a bit more mature. They're a bit more...
Bombers need to win this to make finals. That's it.
I don't
That's
see them
as
losing.
simple
Bombers
as
won to
that.
39.
Why did Gold Coast won their last game because they wanted it? Essendon mirror that, won their game because they wanted it, and they need to win this. They need to win this. Simple as that.
I think we're spot on. A lovely little consensual consensus here on the Angry Show, the Angry Pod for round 22. 21? 22. Round 22.
22, yeah.
Let's talk a few bets. I've got Big Chungus Miller for 30 disposals, and I love him. 30 touches coming your way, baby.
Oh, they all do. He's jacked. He is so jacked. Oh,
It's good.
it's nice.
It's very good.
Zach, not without merit, for 25
Good.
disposals. Darcy, the priest in the parish, for 25 disposals. Nick likes it in the hind for 20 disposals. Thank you very much.
All right.
Yep. A Braden, I don't drive a Lamborghini. I've got a Fiorini instead for 20 disposals. Thanks very
I
much.
like that.
Jacob Townsend. Don't have a nickname, just done. Just
Jacob's sick name. Townsend.
that'll do.
Sick name.
Jacob, I've played for all 18 clubs. Townsend.
Actual.
the journeyman.
Yeah.
For a goal, and Joel Jeffrey for an anytime goal as well.
Joel
Put them
Jeffrey,
together.
one of the best haircuts in the AFL. You seen it?
No.
It looks like Nathan.
Oh no, I have.
Do you remember
sorry,
Nathan Carroll?
Yeah, no, it was ugly.
It's horrid.
But I love that.
It's a skullet, mate.
I do.
This is a kid. This is
and I love that. I'm all for it.
that is
I'll
proper.
put it out there.
Proper horrid. Speaking of proper horrid, what an awful game to end the round on, which probably means
What are you doing?
just digging around in his own mess. Just digging. Apologies if you're listening to this at home. He's a clown. Yeah, dreadful game, which probably means it's going to be amazing.
Yep.
It's the Derby. It's the Freo Dockers versus the West Coast Eagles at home to end your round 22 for AFL season 2021. Desmond Van Bus. Who's winning this one, mate?
Spell loss for me.
LOSS.
You are dead wrong. You are dead wrong because a loss for either of these teams, mate, spells MADMON
Big.
DAY.
Hell yeah.
I don't know what that spells, but
You are an idiot.
let me just call a friend.
An idiot.
Let me just call a friend. Let me just call a friend.
Go on then.
All right, we ready?
Hit me.
Oh, it's Professor Morgan for the man who nearly has it all. It's the follicle rejuvenation and inch issuing vitamins. Well, I'm going to crack some of these open. Let's just crack some open, all right?
I dead set wouldn't eat those.
This is dangerous.
Let me just crack. It's a nice.
They've been sat there for a good 5 months. It's a.
Actually, I dare you. Go on.
Yeah, go on. You wouldn't.
Oh, I would. I would.
In my own
Well,
spare
let me
time,
just have a chat.
recreationally.
Oh, Jace. Oh,
They're not suppositories
you
either.
go for the Eagles, do you? That is why it's the Des Dog of the Week. Freo are going to get up here. Freo are going to get up. The only reason West Coast looked any good, they had like a good 10-minute period in the second quarter, but the only reason they looked any good is because Melbourne went from a premiership contender to the Trinity First 18s, which that is a high school. Trinity First 18s.
Not a good one.
Since the lightning strike. Like what? They kicked 4 goals because literally Melbourne flooded back.
Yeah.
Like West Coast, everyone were talking up, West Coast is this attacking footy, There was attacking footy because
As you said,
Melbourne
rightly,
they had to kick 6 goals
Melbourne
in
were
12
on the plane,
minutes.
mate. They're on the plane. They were
That's
done.
it. They were done.
and dusted. See you later.
And I feel like West Coast, whenever they get on their high horse, whenever they start going, they get on their high horse, they get rolled by teams like North Melbourne. They get rolled by, they even get rolled by teams like Essendon. Essendon weren't in fantastic form. They weren't even in anywhere near sniffing finals. And they went to Perth and rolled them. Mm-hmm. Freo getting shellacked by Brisbane. They're going to go, all right, they're going to settle down. They're going to go, we have another chance here. We have another chance. And they're going to win. And Freo haven't won a derby in a long time.
No.
In a long time. And this is a perfect time because this is the worst West Coast side I've ever seen. In my lifetime, in the memory, since Essendon have won a
In
final.
your 7,800.
Worst
West
Coast team in my memory. And that's
Yeah.
from, say, 2006. They're just not it.
Once again, I hate doing this every week, but I'm going to tip West Coast. I'm going to tip West Coast here. I just don't think Freo have the cattle to kick a winning score. Like against the Tigers, they did, but they were terrible. Really, that last
they were horrendous.
That
you're
last
right.
10 minutes, they were struggling bad. They were scraping. That was all defense, no offense, and I just don't think they're going to have the guts to kick a winning score against West Coast.
No Fife. No Brayshaw. Confirmed suspended.
That's tough.
It's tough.
Let's say, do you bring in Hutchings to bother tagging Sarong?
Nah.
I wouldn't.
Waste of time.
So who's running that midfield unit against? And I know they're down. They're down on performance this year, but Gaff, Sheed, Kelly, Yo.
Who just had his best game since coming back.
I was going to
He's
say
back.
Yo looked fantastic. If Yo plays well, the old inch follicles over there might be calling me for other reasons.
He'll be gaining a few follicles.
He'll be. There will be some inches.
You might be
gained.
losing a few.
There will be some inches gained. I'll tell you that.
All of those blokes tapping at the foot of Nat Nui.
Yep.
I'm sorry, even though Sean Darcy's been in great touch, Sarong's having a much better influence, and Chera's been there or thereabouts. I'm sorry. It starts in the middle, and I don't see West Coast
gonna be
losing this
hard,
one.
mate.
Just get on
It's
the high horse,
West
mate.
Coast 139
Eagles,
for mine.
but Eagles just lose so badly. Like
do,
what
yeah.
did they do to Collingwood? How good were they against That was 2 weeks ago. Oh, now I won't forget. And they still lost. They couldn't even beat Melbourne. Melbourne were gone. They were playing a ghost.
Yep. Look,
They didn't have the slip scope, mate.
I really would like to sit here and agree with you. Like, I actually genuinely like nothing more, but I just can't.
I think I've talked myself into it.
Not this week. Not this week.
Not happening this week. West Coast 139 for mine. Let me give you a few bets. I mentioned them before. I'll mention them again. Yo, Sheed and Kelly, all 25 disposals for mine. I don't see who's stopping them from getting those touches. If Fife and Brayshaw were playing, this could be a different game altogether, but it's too big. Darcy, of the Sean variety, that is, 15 disposals for him. He's had at least that, if not more, for I think the last
he's been great.
4 or 5 weeks going.
Yep.
Not to say anything of Nat Nui, but Darcy gets his own ball, and that's valuable. And Trav Collier, anytime goal. Had 3 on the weekend.
He's been sneaky.
Had 1 goal 3 the week before or something like that, so he'll be there or thereabouts, especially with no Hearn playing.
I'm going to add one stat
Go on.
because I'm sensible, but this is a sensible bet.
He's tempted.
So Nate Wilson out. All right, for the Dockers. Hayden Young came back into the team. Probably had just about his best game at AFL level, even though the rest of the team was terrible.
What, 23 touches?
Yeah,
Something like
so
that?
I would actually look at him, 15 or 23 touches, depending on how safe you want to play it. I reckon he'll get 20, so I'd look at that. But if 15's paying somewhere in that $1.30, $1.40 region, it'll be a tasty little
The young man can
tasty
play.
little multi-tickler.
I'd also look at Aish, actually, with Nate Wilson coming out. There's holes there, possibly even with the Din, with no Hearn.
Someone's got to do it.
Someone's got to take the kickouts. Why not Smithers? Exactly.
I like that.
Gentlemen, jeepers.
We're done.
All of the anger is dissipated. I've worked it out. I've worked out my emotional issues. Feeling good and feeling zen.
I'm not.
Always got to be different, don't you?
Absolutely.
Thank you so very much for joining us this week for our AFL Round 22 episode for season 2021. Please like and subscribe. We do appreciate your support, even when we bugger up. So smack that like and subscribe button. Tell your mates, tell your mum, tell your dad, just tell someone.
Yeah.
Hey, send us through some drinking game legs. Send us through the game that you want me to make a drinking game for, because I will do it Saturday morning. I know that.
And as Desmond said, in his drinking game, share us if you're not a flog.
Yeah,
if you are a
that's
flog,
exactly
then feel
right.
free to not.
Yeah.
Who's
Who's a flog? Whoever didn't share it.
Gamble responsibly, drink responsibly, and I think we'll see you next week when Desmond's going to be hosting.
Viva la raza!
Oh yeah, love that.